Welcome to LabNotes. I'm Joe Fetterman with Colliers Life Sciences Practice Group, and I have the pleasure of being joined today by John Fogarty with Mispro. Welcome to LabNotes, John.
Thanks, Joe. I'm really happy to be here.
We had a great time together about 2 months ago. You were kind enough to give me a personal tour of your new facility at one of the iconic buildings in Philadelphia. It's a beautiful facility. I've been in my share, and I have to say, maybe part of the beauty was that the residents hadn't arrived yet, but it was spectacular.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, first of all, I was really happy to see you there because I had, been kind of, trying to make your acquaintance once we knew that we were coming into the Philadelphia market. I definitely wanted to connect with you. So it was great that you made it. And actually, it was an incredible welcome for Mispro into Philadelphia. We had, about 100 people in the Cytophil space, and it was just a really great party and event. And it was a pleasure to be able to kind of like show you what we do. And it's funny, you say beautiful new facility, beautiful and vivarium were, those are things that did not used to go together. But that's one thing that Mispro is very focused on, is bringing the vivarium into the light, so to speak. Light, color, a lot of amenities, then of course, very effective and functional research space.
Terrific. So it leaves me with an important question. John, you have 19 facilities. Why Philadelphia?
Well, first of all, we're in, the major bioclusters with San Diego next in line for us. Philadelphia came about because we could see the energy that was happening in that market. We were talking earlier, I think you said something where the Colliers, in fact, report said that Philadelphia is now the fourth leading biotech cluster in the U.S. It makes tons of sense that is, the status of today, right? All of the effort. Well, first of all, as the birthplace of cell and gene therapy, of course, it's going to have biotech innovation in its veins, right? But everything that's been going on over the past several years, you could maybe even go all the way back to Wexford, that provides the infrastructure and connectivity for universities and biosciences organizations, all the way up to today with like Brandywine and other life sciences developers that are building an ecosystem for biotech innovation, and then the state support, which trickles down to Penn Biotech Center, which trickles down to creating a community. And what's really important that ultimately makes it, an attractive, a leading, emerging biocluster is that you're keeping top talent from academia, you're attracting top talent in a highly competitive space to your universities, and then you're attracting biotech companies to the Philadelphia market, which is going to be much more affordable than Boston, Cambridge, San Francisco, San Diego. And then you're keeping the ones that were born there, you're keeping them in that market. And all of those factors create a really strong biocluster.
John, your services really are critical to advancing the work, particularly of preclinical companies. Can you talk a little bit about those services and why they're so critical to these young developing companies?
Well, absolutely. Well, first of all, a contract vivarium is not so much a service in and of itself as it is it's a resource for preclinical in vivo studies. And how it works is that we're essentially providing a turnkey infrastructure for that in vivo work. And it's a combination of space and services. So we offer a network of facilities that can support up to 15 companies in each facility, whether it's a startup or a full-blown IPO company with multiple scientists on staff. and they have access to fully equipped rodent facility for preclinical and in vivo studies. But the services component of it is absolutely critical to the business model and to the success that our clients see when they work in our facilities, which is we provide all of our clients with comprehensive animal care and regulatory compliance oversight services. So husbandry, veterinary oversight, some tech services, and very importantly, the IACUC for protocol review, approval, and guidance.
John, it's fantastic that you do all that, and I've long observed that one of the things that was proving to be a challenge was the lack of that kind of infrastructure in the market. It's certainly present, within the institutional research framework, but for once companies spin out of the out of the nest, as it were, it's not cheap. It's a lot of regulatory compliance, and you guys provide all of that turnkey.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the trick to it. So we provide very affordable and flexible, all-inclusive pricing, no surprises. And a small 2-person startup can come in for a proof of concept study and just take a combination of some rack space in a large shared room and schedule some time in a procedure room. Or we have larger, more established household name biotech companies that have more than enough money and funding to build and operate their own vivarium. And more, they're not doing that anymore because they can take 2 or 3 suites in a Mispro facility. They can save a few $1,000,000 on building that vivarium. They can save $1 million a year on running that vivarium. And then, like you mentioned, all of the headaches and complexities of animal care, veterinary oversight, and regulatory compliance. So, one of our first taglines was, you can focus on the science, we'll take care of the rest. It's held true.
So I think I mentioned to you, I love the inception story. Clearly, this makes a lot of sense. What was the aha moment when this all began? What prompted the inception?
Well, it's interesting. Ironically, I was actually up at McGill University this past week. Further irony at a cell and gene therapy focused event, and that's where Mispro was founded. There were two staff scientists at the university. They were operating a vivarium. Within academia, there's multiple researchers conducting studies, much of it translational, but also you have your innovative teams that ultimately spin out into startups. And what was happening, I think this is very common at a lot of university vivariums and even big pharma vivariums, because we see some of that trickle down into our facilities as well, is that it was full, it was overcrowded, it was oversubscribed, and people were waiting a long time to even get in there to conduct a PK or PD study or something like that, right? So they said, well, light bulb moment, let's house the animals offsite. And enable some breeding, of strains or models offsite, and that will open up some room in our facility to accelerate the timelines for the multiple people waiting in line. That was an immediate success, and then our founders said, well, we've already got the animals here, why don't we just add procedure rooms to this location too? And thus was born the offsite multi-user vivarium facility, ultimately the contract vivarium model as we know it today. And then from there, it was such a success that I think one of the major life science developers in the U.S. heard of it. We were also coming into the States and talking to people about it. and such Mispro in the U.S. was born. And it was New York, RTP, Boston, Cambridge, where we have multiple facilities, Philadelphia, and South San Francisco and Palo Alto, and soon San Diego.
In San Diego. Yeah. Well, what a great story. And it makes sense to me that people would look to speak with you about what you built and bring it and expand it. 2 months. How are things going in Philly? What's your subscription? What's your capacity?
You know, we've only been open for 2 months, and it feels like we've been open longer than that because we had such a great opening event. We've got our salespeople are very busy. We have a lot of interest in facilities. We were already placing clients into the facility. We have an unbelievable facility with incredible views of the city. In the perfect location, centrally located there in U City, right by the train station, walking distance to, incubators and UPenn and you name it. And it just, I don't know, it feels like home already. It's probably been the fastest launch and most comfortable of all of our kind of new regional development. It's just been great with everybody that we've worked with to bring us there, who are also building the ecosystem for life sciences in Philadelphia, Brandywine and others, of course. And I don't know, we're feeling good about it. The interest is great. And, we really hope to reach a point, Joe, where we can open an additional facility in the Philadelphia market. And certainly, I think its position as the fourth, bio cluster in the U.S. is a good indicator that will happen.
Well, I'm not surprised to hear that. I imagine that the pent-up demand for the kind of resource that you provide was pretty strong, and we look forward to celebrating another opening. And so let me kind of wrap with, in addition to Philadelphia, what are the other markets you're looking at? Have you ventured abroad? Let's talk a little bit about that, and then maybe wrap with what, if anything else, you would like prospective growing companies to know.
Absolutely. So, we did look at the European market, and, of course, there is drug development and there is a strong research community, especially with, world-renowned universities, throughout the UK and EU. But the timing just wasn't right for Mispro. And we researched it pretty thoroughly. So that's kind of, off our map for now. We'll see. In the U.S., we're going to continue to grow in the major biotech clusters as demand, calls for it. We don't like to just go out and open a facility and hope that they will come. We are very diligent and with our research, and we have a very specific criteria of, how and when we go into a market, and it's worked for us, and we're going to continue to do that. And we have competition in the space, and competition is good. Competition is healthy. We share markets with our competitors, and the more people that know about the benefits of conducting your own studies in a contract vivarium versus outsourcing to a CRO for many companies, especially novel or cutting edge therapeutics. Those founding scientists, they want control over their studies. They want to keep that in-house. And again, back to the more well-funded biotechs, there's really no reason to build your own expensive vivarium anymore and run your own expensive vivarium anymore, especially if you're in that mid stage. Maybe you're past that 7-year mark, but maybe you're not completely, FDA approved and in the market, right? So that's really kind of what we're doing. We're disruptive in the market. We're gaining more and more awareness every day. Certainly, I appreciate opportunities like this to talk to you and LabNotes and the Colliers, the larger Colliers entity, about what we do. And I think really what we're trying to do is we're trying to reach mass saturation in the market. So everybody that knows what a CRO is essentially knows what a CVO is, a contract vivarium organization, and that you can conduct your own studies in our turnkey facilities. And because of that, you're going to accelerate your timelines. You're going to trust your data sets. You're going to have valid and reproducible data sets in later stage trials. And through both of those things, good science and control, you're going to be positioned for success, and you're going to save money, and venture cap is going to look at you more favorably. And it's just a really, really good kind of science, I guess, if I may, what we do, what we bring to the market. And we're seeing through the growth of Mispro and the competitors, along with the adoption across the market of our model, that it's we're off to a really good start. Even though we've been around for 20 years, in some ways it feels like we're just getting started. So it's really really exciting. At Mispro, we love what we do, and we're excited about the future. We love Philadelphia, and so we're in a good place, and it's all good. And I really appreciate the time to talk to you.
It's terrific. So, John, you are a very welcoming face to the Mispro platform.
Thank you.
And you've been a wonderful guest.
Yeah, thanks so much for the opportunity.
You bet, John. Look forward to regrouping. Look forward to the next facility.
Great. Thanks, Joe.
Talk again soon.